I was right. I'm going to be proven right. I'm telling you I'm right. I have been telling you that Gavin Newsom is going to be the nominee. I told you how it would be done. The reason I wasn't sure that it would be either Biden was going to have a fall, Biden was going to hurt himself, Biden was going to get COVID again, Biden was going to claim, I don't have my fastball, it's time to go. He'll make a deal, all right, I'll leave. If you lay off of Hunter, which of course nobody cares about Hunter anymore because frankly, Hunter is of no importance once this is, or whatever it is. Hunter Biden's a different story altogether, but it's going to be Gavin Newsom. Listen to me carefully. Make sure you listen to me. By the end of the month, you're going to see a huge media buys, huge presence. And when they ask Gavin Newsom, you said in your debate with Ron DeSantis, remember that? Remember, out of all the things, why Gavin Newsom? Why a debate? It's kind of practice. You said we have two things in common. Neither of us will be the nominee. How did you say that, Gavin? How did you say that? And he will say, I said that because it was a different time then. I said that because the country didn't need me. I said that before the Her report. I had no intention then. I wasn't lying then. He knew it the whole time. I also told you it would be Gretchen Whitmer. Remember that. And I've been saying this and saying that. And of course, it could all theoretically, whatever, it could be all for naught. But remember this, not Michelle Obama. They were doing that just for fun. Because remember, they have to keep you interested. The American public doesn't know anything. The American public doesn't read, focus, care about this. The American public doesn't understand. The American public is first grade tops. You can't even use junior high or a high school level, and you certainly can't go college, to the American people. They don't understand politics. It's about personal. Remember what I've told you. Americans love to say what they don't know. They love to tell you what they don't care about. They love to tell you this. We're going to be talking about this. This is very, very, very serious stuff, my friends. Remember, it is 269 days until the election. 269 days. So you get ready. We're going to do a show that's one for the ages. Bookmark this, as we say. Bookmark this, okay? But first of all, I want you to understand something. The times they are a-changing. Pay attention to our very special and very critical and very beloved sponsor. Let me ask you a question. Have you taken a good look at the banks lately? You know, on the surface, everything seems fine, but there's a whole lot more going on underneath. It's like looking under the hood of a car and finding a mess of broken wires and parts. And the parts are loans for homes and cars and those credit cards we all use. And they're hitting record highs. It's most frightening when you think about it. Why risk your money for a tiny 5% return when things are so shaky? This is where Noble Gold Investments can help. They're like that friend who knows all about keeping money safe. They suggest gold and silver, oldies but goodies in the financial world. Plus, they've got a sweet deal. A free quarter-ounce gold standard gold coin this month if you qualify. Pretty cool, all right? You better believe it. Now, if you're curious, just give them a call at 877-646-5347. It's just a chat. There's no pressure. They'll help you figure out if gold and silver are right for you. Or visit LionelNationGold.com and take the first step towards a safer financial future. LionelNationGold.com. And remember, there's always a risk of investment and there's no guarantee of any kind. I have been telling people, friends of mine, those in the business, people who've asked, what would you recommend that I do? If you ever want to go into the world of, talk radio, or there is no talk radio anymore, but there's talk, there's discussion, there's analysis, but legal and media analysis. What do you do? What's the number one rule? What's the most critical rule? And I always have told people this, and it's not meant to be mean, but it's true. Americans don't know anything. Americans just don't know anything. Politics in America is nothing but emotion. It's about emotion and feelings of superiority. It's I'm superior, I'm good, they're stupid, they're dumb. The opposition is stupid, they're dumb, they're just not, I don't like them. I hate Hillary Clinton, I hate Obama, I hate Michelle, I love Trump, I love this one, I love, hate, who's in, who's out. It's very, very simple, very base. Next, there's no strategic, planning. Nobody understands this. Third, the media itself provide the biggest distraction. Media today, and it's nobody's fault. I don't blame media. Media is like, let's say, fast food. By the way, did you see the story about Carl Weathers? Did you see this? You know what he died of? Atherosclerotic heart. Did you see this? Atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. How is that prevented? Diet. That is hardening of the arteries. Hardening. Of course, I wasn't there for the whatever. That is it. Diet. Lifestyle. Diet. Not the keto diet, not the carnivore diet, none of that stuff. Cardiovascular, plaque, food, cholesterol, LDL. Nobody wants to talk about that because they prefer this other version of reality, which is what Americans do also. They love this version of reality. They will pick, no, that's not it. He probably has no. Remember that. Americans select their own reality and they'll stick to it. They'll adhere to it. The latest, our bumper sticker, our hashtag should be, you ready for this? And I know this is, I don't mean to be scabrous or coprolalic, but really it should be hashtag no shit. All of a sudden, people are saying because of the hurt. Now, listen to me carefully. And by the way, I always like to tell people to listen and don't say anything. Don't respond yet. Just listen to what I'm saying. You don't have to say something critical. People have the hardest time sitting back and just waiting, okay? We have known all about Joe Biden since Corn Pop. We've known this. But what it is right now is accelerated at breakneck speed, okay? What is critical for us to know, what is drastically critical for us to know, is that we have known all about this since the beginning of time. Barry Taylor says, beneath the calm face of the sea, there's always a swift undertow. You are so correct, my friend. You are so correct, and I thank you. We have known about this. So what the Democrats and the media are doing, they are saying that because of the Her report, because of this report, now they're scrambling. Now they're freaking out. Next, always look at the various news stories to triangulate what is happening. You have to listen to the enemy, so to speak. When I say the enemy, the other side. The other side, I think I told you this. There was a there's something called a show called Useful Idiots. And Katie Halper and Aaron Mate did this wonderful rendition of the facts regarding Israel genocide and others, making a case, along with the Gray Zone and Max Blumenthal, that I think you're not hearing on anything in American media because of the notion of that. Okay, fine. Just when I think, oh, these guys, they're really good, they realize no, they leach through with this anti-Trump. They actually said, I almost pulled the Yugo stretch. I almost pulled it as Mrs. Allen and I were listening to the Transistor. She said at one particular point that Trump shows the same amount of mental occlusion and vacuity and disconnect that Joe Biden did. Actually said that. She actually said that. This is when I realized it's all for naught. They cannot get away from this focus on Trump. No, Trump on his best day, you can wake him up, hit him with questions. He's still more lucid than Joe Biden. This is not an act. Joe Biden is hitting the nadir of his cognitive senescence. There's no way around this, okay? But our hashtag should be hashtag no shit. We've been telling you about this. Why are you saying this now? We didn't need the Hur report. We didn't need this. He's been mistalking about Biden, about his son forever. He thinks his son died in battle. We heard this. He confuses his wife with his sister. We heard this. He's been misnaming people left and right. You needed the Hur report to do this? No. This is their way out. Gavin Newsom is going to have, by huge media presence, by the end of the month. Gavin Newsom, they're going to love him. What a contrast. Tall, sculpted clothing, suits, and this and the hair. And he's also going to lie. Listen to what I'm saying. Gavin, put your money on this. You lie. You lie. Gavin Newsom is going to say, I know firsthand. I live in a border state. I recognize the fact. What? Wait a minute. What? Gavin Newsom's all of a sudden is going to say, we need strong borders. What? But your country has been absolutely, I know firsthand. I've got the 7th largest country state. If my country was a state, if my state was a country, it'd be the 7th largest. Blah, 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 blah. I know all about it. We need crime. I represent in agriculture, and I also recognize, because of this, the notion of climate change and what. Look at our weather. Look at our weather. Look how we have tornadoes and rain, climate change. So he brings that into it. Remember, another thing. Conservatives, they're not conservatives. Fox News, droids, they think that they want to have nothing to do with the notion of climate change. They don't want to have anything to do with the idea of climate change. They don't care about climate change. They don't care about climate change. They don't care about it. It's stupid to them. They don't care about it. I have been saying for the longest time, you're an idiot. You have to be able to say something. You have to have a working version of your response to climate change. You've got to say something about this. I've been trying to say this to people, but I'm wasting my time because Americans, in particular, Americans, but Republican Americans, they're not listening. They just don't. They don't listen. It's a sense of superiority. It's a sense of complete and total superiority. Let me also tell you about Americans. This is important to know. Americans know nothing about politics. Nothing. Nothing. This is the thing which is the most critical thing I can tell you. When it comes to politics, when it comes to how things work, they have no idea. They couldn't tell you about Super Tuesday, about primaries, super delegates, nothing. They just sort of maybe have this idea that, oh, I don't know. They kind of sort of have this, it's hard to say what it is. They just think that things are, I'm not sure what the word is. They just think that things are going to kind of work out for themselves. You know what I mean? They just think that, well, uh, I can't figure it out. I'm not. I have been around more Republican organization. I'm not a Republican. This is why I hate Republicans. They're just full of it. They don't know what they're talking about. And I have been around these people because the only antidote to this world that we're living in is the Republican ticket, and it's Donald Trump. I'm going to say that again because I want you to grasp it. I want you to understand it. And by the way, let me say, I just went through this on my, we talk about this on my private channel because I can spend more time and be more brutal. If you go to lionelmedia.com, you can find how that is. Donald Trump is this, he is a chemotherapy. I've told you this a million times before, and I know people may or may not like that, but it's true. He is this poison that doesn't get along and doesn't work in any other fashion other than in trying to kill cancer. Let me give you another example, which fascinates me. Breitbart, one of the best things he ever did before they killed him, one of the best things he ever said was that politics is downstream from culture. I saw a documentary years ago that said during the fall of the Soviet Union, not Russia, they sent KGB folks to go out and collect jokes. How were people joking? What were cartoons that were being issued? How are people joking? Because the jokes let them know what people were thinking collectively. And you have to recognize that culture mirrors the initial changes to massive political upheavals in the like. Rosa Parks' lunch counter, Martin Luther King. Okay, those are nice. Oh, look, there's Charlton Heston and Marlon Brando. Oh, they're nice. Look, they're out at this talk on the, I Have a Dream. Well, that presaged everything. So right now, as we're speaking, there's this world in which an actress by the name of Monique is tearing into Oprah Winfrey, along with the Cat Williams movement, along with the Chosen Few. It is so wonderful, and it chips away at the veneer and how the treachery. And let me say this again. In the mob, as you know, when I send someone to kill you, I will get someone that you know. I will bring a friend of yours, somebody that you trust implicitly. It won't be some stranger. It won't be some guy with a high-powered rifle. It'll be your friend. That's who I get. Black people have notoriously, in addition to whatever the ravages of white-centered racism and the like, have been sold out by their own. And one could even argue that in any culture where there has been slavery, you can only have slavery when the source of the slaves works out a deal with the slave master. If you and I decided we're going to drive up and we're going to go into Algeria and grab people, that will last 5 minutes if they don't want this to happen. Complicity, paying people up, another story completely. Okay? So people have to understand this. Perfidy. You've only had the black community, like the white community. Look who rips us off. Who's done more harm to us? Let me ask you a question. Stop talking for 1 second. Who has done more harm to the conservative cause? CNN or Fox News? Answer your question. Answer my question. Stop talking for 1 second. Who has done more to harm the conservative, whatever that movement is, whatever in your own definition that is, who has done more? Fox News or CNN? Fox, 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 Fox. How anybody can say CNN misses the point. Fox, Fox, Fox. Why is that? Why is that? Why is that? Hashtag no shit. Thank you, Rebel. Why? Why? CNN tells you right off the bat, we're the enemy. We're the enemy. We have nothing to do with you. We're the enemy. We're the enemy. We hate Fox. There's no, you don't scratch your head. They're important to see where the enemy is going. CNN's never lied to you. CNN's never, no. Fox, has Fox talked about Tucker? No. It's Fox. They've lost their balls, their heart, their guts. They won't talk about election denial because, like a bunch of wussies, they caved into that Dominion lawsuit, never even called a witness. They're spineless. They're gutless. They put on this crap in the morning with this guy who butchers the English language with some girl who cries and these other morons. It looks like Good Morning Dubuque, like some old PM magazine, whatever. They regurgitate this stuff. They do nothing but fuel the military-industrial complex. Basically, the argument about Ukraine. They were the same way about vaccines. They were the same way about Israel. No disrespect to the great and wonderful people of Israel, but to the military machine of Israel, to the BB crowd, they are bought, sold. They are quislings. They will never even give you the other side. They are traitors. It's always the people that you trust that hurt you. So what Black America is realizing that their number one enemy is Oprah, Steve Harvey, the people who are chosen, the people who are allowed, the people who are allotted, the people who are allowed to be there, to the scarecrows, the quislings, the phony baloney, masked agents. This is it. And you're seeing it. Cat Williams brought it up. Jason Whitlock brought it up against Stephen A. Smith. Aaron Rodgers is going to wussy out against Jimmy Kimmel. He's got to stand firm and hard. But NFL's in no. We got, and I kind of dig this. Black America is sitting there waiting to be courted, waiting to be pulled, culled, attracted, corralled, whatever you want to call it, by the conservative movement, whatever you call this anti-woke thing. But they don't, because Fox News and the Republican parties got their head up their ass, thinking in some kind of a Ronald Reagan, Barry Goldwater world. They still don't like Black people. They don't connect. They have their tokens and their acceptable ones. I mean, okay, well, whatever. Remember J.C. Watts? You know what the C stands for? See, he's Black. And you had the folks every now and then, the Armstrong Williams and the Ken Hamlins, Larry Elders, who's very good. I'm not going to put him in that category. I think Larry is legit. But understand, Larry can't go too far because extra focus on Larry. See, we have the Ben Carson. Have you ever heard, spent any amount of time listening to KRS-One? You ever heard him? You will not believe what you're hearing. if ever there is somebody that is absolutely, he was Alex Jones before Alex Jones. The black community is just dying to be just sitting there. And it takes somebody, and at least somebody maybe to lead them down the path. But the one who's going to sell the black community down the river is Oprah. She can't even tell the truth about her diet. How do you tell somebody, hey, I'm, look at me, I'm easy to eat. Well, stop it. She can't even talk. There's no truth. The whole Meghan, she really did it in. Don't ever forget this. Listen to me carefully. The royals and the Windsors and the people that run the world will never forget her and CBS for what she did when she set them up by letting Meghan Markle pull that racist crap. We'll get to that later. This is beyond your scope. This is not your bailiwick. I dig it. I understand it. This is incredible. Watch how fast this thing is moving right now at the speed of light. And also remember, over weekends, they realize you don't pay attention over the weekend. Stand by for a second, my friends. Stand by stand by for a second is what I'm trying to say. Because we got to talk to our good friends about food insecurity. When the economy collapses, will you collapse with it? You can feel it coming. All signs are there. With it comes financial disaster, tight budgets, and sacrifice. So plan for the worst with the best. My Patriot Supply has helped millions prepare, and they'll help you too. Hard times take years to recover from. So make that first year easier with their first 1-year emergency food kit. Get it now with $700 in savings at my website, preparewithlionel.com. Sealed inside ultra-durable packaging, these delicious meals last up to 25 years in storage and provide over 2,000 calories every day. That's over 2,000 calories every day for a year at a special price of under $2,000. This rare emergency food kit deal ends this week. You won't see it again soon. So protect yourself, protect your people, protect your family. Start preparing with My Patriot Supply at preparewithlionel.com. Free shipping including. That's preparewithlionel.com. One more time. Preparewithlionel.com. I have in my mind these people that I think of whenever I speak to you. And one of them is this couple. It's a husband and wife who know nothing. And I always think about them. And how do they know nothing? They know nothing. Fancy themselves as, knowing something. And that's one. Next, this one guy I know who considers himself a Republican operative who knows nothing, who lives in a world where I don't know what it is. He actually thinks that Newsmax and Greg Kelly and that bombast, Eric Balderdash, whatever his name is, these people, that this represents something. It's like the most. Years ago, every now and then someone would come along, and those of us in the music, those of us are music snobs. Some of us are music snobs, and I admit. And when Kenny G came along, and they say, Kenny G is turning people onto the world of jazz. I thought, oh my God, the world of jazz, Kenny G. Oh dear God, jazz. Kenny G's not jazz. Well, it's as close to it as they're going to get. So okay, fine. Garth Brooks came along and taught people about country. Garth Brooks. All right, if that's the way it is. Andrea Bocelli and opera, not even close. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So then there's people now who come along and they think that, okay, we're going to talk about politics. And the first thing in the world you realize, these are the false prophets. And what they do is they come out and remember whether I'm not going to go through the names, but you can imagine. Just they say, what do I have to do to sell you what you want to hear? Roger Ailes is the genius behind narrowcasting, not broadcasting, narrowcasting. He told you what you want to hear. You don't get to hear everything. You get to hear your particular world reaffirmed. What you believe the world to be reaffirmed. Okay? That's the way this is. It's the world reaffirmed. It's your I'm not going to tell you what, the good, the bad. No. If you like Trump, I'm going to give you pro-Trump. I'm going to give you whatever it is. I'm going to kiss his ass and I'm going to give it to you all that. That's the way they are. That's it. They hate this. They hate yes, but on the other hand, no, they don't do this. And that's that world. And then all of a sudden, this thing comes along. And in as much as I think Tucker wastes so much of his talent talking to people by virtue of his own particular internal conflicts that he has as to a variety of things, which I don't want to get into. He does something that nobody else does. He turned more people on to the reality of what's going on regarding Putin and what's going on, and that is to be commended. He is to be commended for that. Do you hear what I'm saying? I hope I don't know how many people are listening. 100 million? Who knows? It's all nonsense. That's the world you need to be in. And you need to devote yourself to a brand new level of education, the likes of which you're going to need to be deprogrammed. You need to go to boot camp. We have to have classes on geography. You can't understand IR, international relations, foreign policy, without understanding geography. If you don't know where things are, if you don't know China and Taiwan, if you don't know things about where you got to cross these mountains and you got to go over here, and this is border and this is landlocked, if you don't understand this, it means nothing to you. It means absolutely nothing. You've got to be able to find things on maps. You've got to be able to appreciate the notion of where things are contiguous. You just have to. That's number one. Number two, you have to understand real history, not the history you were told. Don't forget, I always tell you what Tolstoy said: history would be a wonderful thing if only it were true. The stuff that we know is garbage. And three, you have to understand what Carol Quigley said about tragedy and hope. Imagine the left right as two sides of the same coin: Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi. But here's what I like: two drunks are walking home, and they're both going to fall over, and they lean next to each other to kind of support each other as they walk straight. They need the other one to counterbalance them. That's what this left and right is. Next, Americans have to understand politics. I don't care what's good for you, what you should know, what people like. Gavin Newsom, check. If people think he's handsome, check. If people think he's young, check. If people think his wife is hot, check. I'm not saying I agree with this. I'm telling you, this is what I want. If he has something to say, if he can lie, if people can get behind him, don't think for a moment that the left, hasn't lost its connection with entertainment. And finally, Black America, it's your Uncle Lionel. Listen to me. Who sold you out initially? Democrats or Republicans? Democrats. Dixiecrats. In 1856, I believe, the first Republican National Convention in Philadelphia, what was their motto? What was the gravamen of their message? The twin pillars of barbarism. Polyamory, and there was this kind of there was an anti-Mormon type of this notion, this idea of multiple marriages and Mormonism, and Yeah, they did not particularly care for that. But also, the twin pillars of barbarism was the notion of slavery. And this was the part that absolutely this was it. Slavery. 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 Polygamy drove them nuts. I mean, you have no idea. This Mormon, some incredible stuff. By the way, one of the best pieces about it was a fellow named Webster Tarpley who spoke absolutely most eloquently on this subject, and it's something which confounds and surprises most people. Anyway, make a long story short, that was that. But so I would tell Black America, who do you think is behind you? Who do you think? Republicans, not the Democrats. Republicans. I need 400 likes right now. I need 400. Okay. So I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this very, very clearly, very, very cogently. I hope cogently. My dear friends, we are talking about something right now that is so complicated, and I haven't even talked about AI. I haven't talked about AGI. I haven't talked about these wars. Mrs. L is going to be talking about the war against social platforms and social media, and how AI is going to affect that. I'm also going to talk to you how there is the consummate war against our children for the first time in a long time. Children, our young people are reporting levels of despair and gloom and misery and depression, the likes of which we have never seen. We have to do something about that. Not laugh at it, not whatever. Let me go back to what I said. 3 groups. Number 1, Black Americans. Number 2, gay and lesbians. Not trans, not two-spirit, none of that bullshit. I'm talking about gay and lesbian. Bisexual too. Throw it in. Switch hitters, whatever you want. I don't care. Nothing fancifully, unnecessarily, intellectually cumbersome. Gay, lesbian, bi. That's it. You've been forgotten. And third, in the Holy Trinity, the Troika, the Triad, the Triumvirate, Latinos. And that covers everything from Cubans to Mexicans to Venezuelans to Spain. Everybody. If you speak Spanish, that's the guy. And even though your cultures are completely different. And what is the Republican Party doing for that? Nothing. 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 All they're doing is they're just repeating this nonsense. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this. I must be running off. I must be leaving you. I have an appointment. Have a great and a glorious day. I will talk to you later tonight at 7 p.m. And until then, my friends, remember these words. Remember this valedictory, this sayonara. Remember this. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Suya. Da.